We're back with General Michael Flynn's attorney, Sidney Powell, Tom Fitton, president of Judicial Watch. Sidney, I want to go back to that moment. It's been just about 3 years and a few days since General Flynn resigned. He's been put through hell by any definition in the prosecution by these Justice Department attorneys. Where are we with the case? Bring us up to date very quickly, if you would.
Yes, we're in the process of trying to get his guilty plea vacated or the case dismissed for the government's outrageous and egregious misconduct. From the time they started the investigation through the prosecutor's recent breach of the plea agreement, it's been one thing after the other. The entire investigation was based on a pretext to begin with. There was no valid basis to investigate him, and they have violated his rights at every single turn. They interviewed him in an ambush without telling him what they were doing or that he was even the subject of the investigation. He didn't have a lawyer present, of course. Right. They didn't advise him of his rights because they'd literally schemed and planned and
So what's the next step?
The next step is to file a reply brief tomorrow on the misconduct motion seeking to have the case dismissed.
The Justice Department understands that what they've done to this man. They understand the iniquity of it as well as the inequities. This is horrific that our Justice Department doesn't have the integrity to stand up and say this man has been wronged.
Well, specifically, Attorney General Barr and the U.S. Attorney Durham have said the opening of Crossfire Hurricane, which led to this indictment and plea deal, was suspect. So they've confirmed that the opening of the investigation into the Trump team, which led to the prosecution of Flynn, is suspect. Well, given that, shouldn't they in the least freeze this investigation or this prosecution until they figure out what was up and what was down about it? They think there's information that it was opened improperly, and if it was, you could argue, and I'm sure Sidney would, that there would be, this is fruit of the poison tree, and they shouldn't be pursuing this. Certainly there's enough for the president to pardon him, but, the president shouldn't have to pardon him. The Justice Department should come in and protect the rule of law here and stop it.
This president has put Bill Barr in charge as Attorney General to do precisely that, to clean up a Justice Department and an FBI that are rancid with political corruption. There's no mystery here. That is a politically corrupt department and agency, period. And Sidney, how many prosecutors, by the way, have worked against your client? How many have they got unleashed on you?
Well, there were 19 that were part of the special counsel operation, and most of them were present at what was supposed to be his sentencing December over a year ago. Technically, Mr. Van Grack and Zanib Ahmad were the lead prosecutors on it, and now there are a couple more. We have heard from Fox, by the way, that Attorney General Barr has appointed someone new to review the entire matter, which would be a wonderful thing if that's true, because anybody looking at it with any objectivity...
It is true, because Fox reported it.
Right.
And we reported it. It's right here.
Excellent. Well, they haven't told me yet, but I'm looking forward to hearing it from the government themselves.
Anytime I can help, Sidney, just give me a call.
Well, have they told the judge? Have they told the judge?
Not yet.
That's a real problem. I think, the Attorney General should freeze this. It doesn't mean you're letting General Flynn off from the prosecutor's perspective. You're just freezing everything in place until they figure out if there was corruption behind this investigation. He suggested there was. I don't know why they're not following up.
Well, we've produced enough evidence and documentation now for them to see that there's corruption behind the entire thing, and it should be dismissed or the plea allowed to be withdrawn at a minimum.
The judge is, she may be a partisan, or excuse me, may be a partisan, but one thing, not an idiot. You can see on the face of this that it is wrong, that how wrong General Flynn has been. And if that is asking too much of our Justice Department, we have the wrong people trying to fix what is an evil and politically corrupt organization.
But the best thing the Department of Justice could do, and do it very quickly, is to agree to dismiss the case.
Yeah, there you go. Will you accept that, Tom?
I would, but, they never know what the next Justice Department's going to do, so he may need a pardon in the end. You can't trust the next gang that will come in.
Yeah, right now I can tell you this: I don't trust any of them.